Buenas tardes, good afternoon, and welcome to the new lesson of Spanish Language Learning Center. Today we'll be talking about one of the most widely used article in all the languages, the. We want to say the pencil is in the drawer, the key is on the hook, the ball is lying on the floor. So the word the remains same in English, but yes, it differs in Spanish depending upon whether the noun is masculine or feminine, or we are talking about masculine singular or we are talking about masculine plural. Similarly, the case with feminine, it is feminine singular or it is feminine plural. So yes, the Spanish world is divided into two parts, masculine and feminine. So yes, if we are talking about pen, pen in Spanish is pluma. So if we want to say the pen, we'll say la pluma. So as we see over here, feminine singular. But let's start from the dot. All right. So how do we define the for a masculine singular noun? It is ale, ale. And for masculine plural, it is los, los. For feminine singular, it is la, la. And for feminine plural, it is las, las. We just added s to this nice la and it became las. Okay. So let's go and see some real examples to understand what we are talking about. Okay, yes, we have a notebook on the screen, and in English we say the notebook. What do we say in Spanish or in Espanol? So the term for notebook is cuaderno or libreta. Yes, the notebook is known as cuaderno or libreta in Spanish. So cuaderno, as we see, it is a masculine noun. The word ends with O. So when we want to say the notebook, and we are talking about one object, so it would be will be el cuaderno, el cuaderno. Coming on to the second word for it, libreta. So there's a nice a towards the end of the word, which makes it a feminine noun. And we want to say the notebook, so it would be la libreta, el cuaderno, la libreta. And what is this o in middle of them? So in English we want to say this or that. So or is the word which indicates options or variations. So the Espanol form of it is o, o. So here basically we are saying el cuaderno o la libreta, which means el cuaderno or la libreta. Both are the forms of the notebook. O means or in Espanol. Okay, moving on to the next example, the notebooks. We talked about masculine, feminine, singular form. Now we want to talk about the plural forms. We want to say the notebooks. So we know the terms cuaderno, libreta. And since we are talking about multiple objects over here, so we'll add s to end of both the words. So it becomes cuadernos, libretas. But yes, we are still left with to specify the. So the masculine plural form of the is los. So it becomes los cuadernos. And the feminine singular form of the is las. So it becomes las libretas. Los cuadernos or las libretas. All right. Next example. Yes, here's a clock and we want to say the clock. So clock in Espanol is known as reloj. Reloj. So although there's no O, E or A out here, but we know reloj, it's a masculine noun. So when we want to say the clock in Espanol, it becomes el reloj. El reloj. And similarly, when we want to talk about the clocks, so it would be los relojes. Los relojes. So yes, the word didn't end with O, E or A. So we cannot simply just add a S to indicate that we are talking about multiple objects. We'll have to add ES towards the end. So it becomes los relojes. Los relojes. Moving on to the next example. The pencil is in the drawer. What's pencil known as in Spanish? Lapis. Term is lapis. And it is a masculine noun, so we'll call it el lápiz. The pencil, el lápiz. So this Z over here has a sound of S in Spanish, el lápiz. And since this A has an accent over here, so we are giving a little bit stress to indicate the accent, el lápiz. And when we are talking about the pencil, the pencils, so el becomes los, and then we are left with lápiz. So here is again a rule breaker. So Z is replaced in lápiz is replaced by C, and it becomes los lápices. Los lápices. So this is same as vos. Vos is Spanish term for voice. All right. So when we want to say the voice, we say el vos, el vos. But when we want to say the voices, los voces, los voces, VOCES, los voces. So los lápices, los voces, they are the rule breakers and they follow the same pattern where when we are talking about multiple objects, Z is replaced by letter C, say, okay, lápices, voces. So here we move to the sentence formation. I want to say the pencil is here. We know what the pencil is known as in Spanish, lápiz, and we know it's a masculine noun. Translation for here is aquí, aquí, and for is, we'll be using third person form of estar, está. So it would be el lápiz está aquí, el lápiz está aquí. Next one, the pencils are here. Lápiz is the term for pencils, and for pencils, we'll just say lápices, and el will become los lápices, and we are talking about multiple objects. So it would be ustedes form of estar, están. So the translation is los lápices están aquí. The pencils are here. Los lápices están aquí. Right? Another one. Here is the copy. Here we know aquí. Copy is known as copia. It's a feminine noun. Aquí está la copia. Aquí está third form of estar, third singular form of estar, la copia, because it's a feminine noun that we're talking about. And similarly, here are the copies. Aquí están las copias. Aquí están las copias. Right? So basically in all these examples we have used the third person form of estar, both singular and the plural version. Está and están. The book is here. Book is known as libro. Libro. So we know the book would be called as el libro. El libro está aquí. The book is here. El libro está aquí. Similarly, I think you'll guess what the next example is going to be. The books are here. Tell me, how will you call it out in Spanish? Yes. Los libros están aquí. Los libros están aquí. The pen is here. Pen, known as pluma. Tell me, the pen is here. La pluma está aquí. La pluma está aquí. And the last example. You would have guessed it by now what it's going to be. The pens are here. Okay, depends. Las plumas están aquí. Las plumas están aquí. Let's take another example over here. Say you want to say, or someone asks you, where are you going? ¿Dónde vas? Or ¿dónde va? And you want to say, I'm going to the supermarket. So, supermarket is supermercado. So, to express the article the, we'll use el. So, your response would be, voy a el supermercado. I'm going to the supermarket. Voy a el supermercado. All right, let's move on to the other section of this lesson where we'll be talking about rule breakers. In any language, there are rule followers, there are rule breakers. And here we have few of the rule breakers. And these rule breakers are professions, relations. So let's take them one by one. So we are talking about the first profession, that is accountant. And the Spanish translation of accountant is contable. Contable. So an accountant can be a male or a female. So if you want to say Julia is the accountant, so you won't say Julia es el contable because Julia is a female, and for female objects or nouns to express the, we use the term la. So you'll say Julia es la contable. Julia is the accountant. If you want to say Julio is the accountant, you're talking about a male or a man, you'll say Julio es el contable. Julio es el contable. So over here the term is contable, although it ends with E, but still looking at with which object or what is the gender of the object will decide whether we need to use el, la, los or las. Alright. Then there's another example. We are talking about relations. Romantic partner. So the Spanish translation of that is amante. And depending upon the gender of the person, we'll say el amante or la amante. All right. Then there's another rule breaker example, medical consultant. So the term is especialista. Especialista. So here again we see an A. Initially we might end up thinking that we should add la in front of it. But then again, we'll take the first example. Julia is the medical consultant. Julia es la especialista. And if we want to say Julio is the medical consultant, we'll say Julio es el especialista. So yes, that's all we had in this lesson. I think we covered widely this topic of using the right word to define the article the in our conversations. So go out there, practice it, read Spanish newspapers or books or the watch some videos, and it will widely enhance or it will widely help you to grow your Spanish conversational skills. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.